I know now how big of a mistake this was, and like, it's just, there's nothing I can.
Gamers have done some pretty bad things since, well, video games have been a thing. We all had that friend who screen peeked and exploited the game to no end just to win. Now that professional gaming, also known as eSports, has taken off, absolutely nothing has changed. Not a single thing. Gamers still continue to do whatever they want to win, even going as far as breaking the rules professional leagues have in place. Some of these rules are absolutely ridiculous, like not being able to wear hats, while others make just a bit more sense. Still, we've seen gamers get kicked out of professional tournaments for breaking the rules in the most interesting ways, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about right now. Take a shower. Have you ever been close to someone who doesn't smell the best? If you've ever taken public transportation, then of course you have. It's very uncomfortable and gross, sometimes to the point where you have no choice but to switch seats. No one likes a person who doesn't shower, yet we see this behavior in the pro gaming scene. Yep, it's true. There are some pro gamers who wouldn't know proper hygiene if it smacked them right in the face. They refuse to shower before tournaments, and the sick thing is that they do it on purpose. They purposely smell as bad as they possibly can to distract the players around them and get them off of their game. We just can't help but shake our head at whoever came up with this, unique tactic. Luckily, it's a tactic that could no longer be used in most pro tournaments. Players in certain events will now be penalized if they smell like they just came out of a dumpster. So if you were turned off of the pro scene because of the awful smells, well, now you could get back into it. Don't throw games. StarCraft is the most popular esports game in South Korea. They go crazy for it over there. The StarCraft 2 tournaments are known for their huge crowds and enormous prize money. It's pretty much like the Super Bowl, but with significantly less athletic players and less commercials. Anyway, what we're trying to say is that StarCraft 2 is a big deal in South Korea. Players spend hours and hours every single day honing their craft to be the best StarCraft 2 player in the country. But in 2015, a match-fixing scandal was revealed that rocked the esports world. Some StarCraft 2 pros were taking bribes to throw games, and of course, they ended up getting caught. This just doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to be the best in the world, only to accept a load of cash to purposely lose that we're sure was less than the prize money from winning the whole tourney? Note to future pro gamers, don't accept any bribes. You're paid to win and be successful, not to lose. This whole thing reminds us of the 1919 Black Sox scandal, where some players deliberately lost games. It's that bad. No aimbots. Shooter games, whether they're first-person like CSGO and Call of Duty or third-person like Fortnite, are some of the most popular esports games out there. It requires a tremendous amount of skill and practice to learn the ins and outs of every weapon to the point where you could headshot a player who's 8 light years away. There are the pros who do things the right way and develop these skills on their own, and then there are those who decide to use an aimbot, which essentially does all the work for them. It aims and shoots by itself and very rarely misses. It's a hack, plain and simple. FaZe Jarvis is one gamer who took the easy way out. He built his whole life around Fortnite and has over 2 million subscribers on YouTube. But he was caught using an aimbot on stream, and Epic Games decided to drop the ban hammer on him for life. Jarvis is no longer able to play in Fortnite tournaments, all because of what he did during a stream. He didn't even use an aimbot in a competitive Fortnite match, but Epic Games obviously doesn't want any cheaters to take part in their tournaments. When you stream, always make sure it's you who's playing and not some robot with perfect aim. The consequences could be severe. Keep your cool. It's hard to keep your cool playing certain games. We get it. We can't remember one session of COD that didn't involve us screaming at the TV and possibly insulting somebody's mother. It just comes with the territory. That being said, you do have to control yourself when you're a pro gamer playing in major tournaments. While you won't get immediately disqualified for screaming, we don't think you'll stay in the game for doing it a second time. You definitely will get ejected the first time you make fun of another player's mom, though. While it's all fun and games in public matches with randoms, you have to put on your game face when playing in the pro scene. Screaming, yelling out obscenities, and fighting other players has led to so many ejections and disqualifications over the years. We've seen players yell out the craziest things, get into verbal arguments, and even break their opponent's controllers all in the heat of the moment. 3 words of advice. Just be chill. Don't make up your own rules. Every esports league for every game has a rule book. And if you're a pro gamer, we'd recommend looking through it, just so you don't accidentally break a rule or two and get yourself kicked out. Once you've done that, we also recommend that you don't make up your own rules like these two teams did in the finals of a League of Legends tournament. Curse NA and Team Dignitas both agreed to play ARAM in the first round of the finals and split the prize money. ARAM stands for All Random All Mid, and is an unofficial League of Legends game mode. While it's a load of fun, it's not quite what MLG had in mind for the finals. So what did they do? They stripped both teams of their finishing position and prize money. Instead, the third and fourth place teams bagged the first and second place teams' prize money respectively, and both finalists were disqualified from the tournament. Again, this is beyond mind-boggling. You get to the finals of a tournament with a solid amount of prize money on the line and ruin everything by making up your own rules for the finals. Just play the game the way the organizers want you to, and you could keep all the prize money you rightfully earned. It's simple, but clearly not for these teams. No screen peeking. Since GoldenEye for the N64, screen peeking has been a thing. In fact, we're sure it's been around for a lot longer, but we're not old enough to remember a time before GoldenEye. Despite literally having your opponent's screen on the same screen you're looking, it was illegal to screen peek, or else your friend would punch you in the arm or something. Oh, how times have changed. In the pro scene, that penalty is a little bit more severe. During the last solo match of the Fortnite World Cup, 14-year-old Mark Danilov was disqualified from the match for, you guessed it, screen peeking. Since 100 gamers are playing at once, these players are seated in rows right next to each other, so realistically, it's not too hard for them to turn their head and peek at their opponent's screens. According to Mr. Danilov, he only peeked over his monitor for a few seconds to look at the spectator screens in the stadium. But come on, man, don't screen peek. He obviously didn't get punched in the arm by his friend enough. No gambling. Gambling on sports as a fan is one thing, but gambling on the sports you play is just crossing a whole other line completely. We're looking at you, Pete Rose. Another baseball reference. We're killing it with these today. Anyway, these gambling rules apply for eSports as well. You can gamble on eSports games as a fan, but not as a player of the game. In fact, you can't even tip off bettors with inside information, which is exactly what NBA 2K League player Basil Rose did. Once the news broke out, he was banned from the 2K League. Now, the investigation made it perfectly clear that Rose did not throw any games or play differently to help the bettor out. But he did leak information, which was strictly against the rules. When it comes to gambling, it's best not to get involved in any way, shape, or form if you're a part of that particular esports game. Nothing good can come of it. Follow the dress code. We already talked about hygiene code and the keep your cool code. But we didn't get into the dress code, which is one of the most interesting codes in all of esports. Did you know you can't wear hats? Yeah, that's right. You better make sure your hat is on point because you can't wear any kind of headwear whatsoever. It's an interesting rule, but we think it's in place solely to prevent players from showing up with a Monster Energy drinking cap. Yeah, we're sure that's why. Also, this video isn't sponsored by Monster Energy, and we just plugged them twice. Darn it. Anyway, there's much more to this rule than just hats. If you're part of a team, you also have to wear your team shirt. Now we know what you're going to ask next. Can I wear my stylish jorts to an esports tourney? And the answer is
No!
Forget jorts, forget shorts, no calves can be shown at an esports event. Unless you own a baby cow. Actually, we're pretty sure they're banned from esports events too. Not complying with the dress code can cost your team valuable points and may even lead to disqualification, so dress accordingly. Don't lie about your age. Age is just a number, so there's no need to ever lie about it, unless you're trying to get an underage kid to join your pro team. Oh, it's still against the rules to do that? Well, alright then. FaZe is one of the most popular clans out there, and we already mentioned one of their members, Jarvis, earlier in this video. It turns out that they recruited an 11-year-old kid, known as Patrick, aka High Sky 1, to join the team, but lied on the legal documents, saying he was 13 years old. Why did they lie? Well, that's because you have to be at least 13 to broadcast on Twitch and make money off the platform. So the rest of the team couldn't stream with him unless he was at least 13 years old. You also can't compete in Fortnite Pro tournaments unless you're at least 13 years of age. He never competed in a major tournament, so Patrick received no punishment from Epic Games, but he did get banned from Twitch for lying about his age. Streaming is a big part of being a pro gamer, so we guess High Sky 1 will be sticking to Mixer moving forward. No standing on tables. Last but not least, just like your mom told you when you were just a little toddler, you can't stand on tables. That sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? How dare you prevent pro gamers from standing on tables? Well, it actually makes sense. This rule is in place to prevent players from messing with the wires and lighting fixtures to give themselves an advantage. It's not at all because they might fall and hurt themselves. As for chairs, you can't stand on those either, so don't even think about it. We honestly have no idea who's responsible for putting this rule in place, but we're sure it was an interesting sight to behold. And those were some of the strictest rules and funniest ways gamers have been kicked out of tournaments. Who knew you couldn't stand on tables? What do you think is the weirdest rule in esports? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe to The Gamer for more gaming videos. Thanks for watching.